The Mandalorian continues to be a show on the Disney Plus streaming service app thingamabob. I'm James. He's Andrew. This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. Welcome to Unleashed. This is a show we haven't done forever. But we're going to because so Friday's episode kind of came and went. I felt like this is the one. They should have started the series, Andrew, the week before Halloween, and this should have been their Halloween episode because I think when we do our top 5 scariest moments of Star Wars next year, this episode might be up there. But you watch this and you're like, I have a spoiler for you. Have you seen it? I said, yes. And you sent me a spoiler. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Some little hidden gems in The Mandalorian Season 2, Chapter 10, Episode 2. There's a whole lot of titles for this. But before we get into all that, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. I feel unleashed because I feel like it's been a million years since we've done a show together. So this is nice. I feel like the leash has been taken off my body.
Perfect. Yeah, on purpose. It's
on
all
purpose.
Yeah, we don't do anything by accident here. Nothing by chance. Everything on purpose. I got a plane behind me.
You do have, yeah. You got. Are we gonna get in trouble? Is Disney gonna be like, "Hey, turn that off"?
The great thing about this is nobody watches this, so we are good to do what we want. If Disney,
it's funny that you said this should be a Halloween episode because I thought there was a point in the episode. I don't know if you agree, but I thought it was gonna go in a different direction when he falls asleep and he's like, "Yeah, just chill because it's gonna be a long ride." I thought those eggs were gonna hatch into something bad.
Really interesting. No, my mind never went there. I have this thing where I approach this show I don't overthink what's happening necessarily. Not to say you're overthinking because you're a snob, but like I just kind of
I am. It's okay.
You can ask. I was watching it with Aaron, and the whole time I was just kind of sitting there smiling like a child, laughing, giggling, having a good time. So I never gave myself the benefit to think about what the next turn would be. There was a couple times like, oh, the X-Wings are back, or who's there? Is that somebody that we know? Things like that kind of came to my mind as the plot kind of went on. But no, I never thought that never came to my mind.
Oh, okay. So I'm just weird. But I found something that I am very weird. That's why you haven't had me on the show in a long time. You're like, get this guy off of our thing. But I found something kind of cool. I noticed something kind of cool, and it has to do with how Filoni and company they love to grab from different parts of Star Wars. And hell, on the screen right behind you right now, there's a great example. This guy who's holding the baby, he's that same species that was like, "Hey Ray, hurry up and finish cleaning that thing." Yeah, so this is what we love. We love how everything comes together.
And this is what I was saying. Like whenever I talk about the aliens in the prequel trilogy, it's not that I necessarily have a problem with the aliens in the prequel trilogy. It's that they don't interact with the aliens that we have grown accustomed to, that we've grown up with, that we know and love. And what this show is doing is it's bridging them together. It's bringing them all together in a way that I really love it, because now we have a Force Awakens alien that we've never seen on Tatooine, but now we're like, oh, that alien's on Tatooine, great. So they come together, they merge, they're all part of the same universe. Because I know people are like, but it shrinks the universe, but the universe can't be. And I know you love like new planets all the time, but the new planets have to exist with the old planets. And when you start to forget what came before, you're starting to just do something completely different. And so there's little bits like that, like this guy here, when that new creature that we've never seen before, which you're going to get to in a second, starts speaking, and then the Mandalorian's like, what is that? Is that Huttese? It's like, okay, you're bringing it back into the world that I know about Star Wars. So
exactly, that's what I love. I love yes, the world is massive and it keeps growing, but don't let it grow off into tangents where it's like it feels segregated.
Absolutely.
Can I show you everything together?
Show me everything. I got some Christmas ornaments. I got the Mandalorian Christmas ornament, and I got. Can you see that? And I got Baby Yoda ornament.
Are you gonna pick up those Christmas Black series? I feel like those were made for you.
Yeah. So I tried to on Amazon, and it was really expensive. And then I missed out on it, and they're not available. So, yeah, I know they were made. I do want them. I would love to get at least one, but I'm having no luck. This is the one I got last year. I got this Rise of Skywalker Jet Trooper, and my nephew actually got me the Black Series of this Jet Trooper for my birthday this year. But I got that one last year. You can't see, but above here I have all of these. I think actually Hall of Chronicles might have showed it on there. But I have like every year I get whatever the new one is of these. I get the Walmart. They're Hallmark, but I get them at Walmart. I get them every year. My sister started me off with 4 from The Force Awakens: Kylo, Yoda, Vader, and 3PO. And then I got myself an R2. I have a ton of them, but they're a lot of fun because Christmas is coming, and you have to get the ornaments now or they sell out by November 12th. So anyway, Andrew, let's not go on anymore. No more of me blabbering. Now I'm going to let you take the floor while I sit back and watch this episode.
Okay, well, I didn't realize how low your chair was.
Well, when I do the podcast, this is actually where I am, and and my table's down more, but I'm standing now. I think I might do it standing up because I've been watching the coverage of the election. So I'm like, we have Tatooine here, and if Palpatine wins Tatooine here with 2,000 more of the votes, he can get Naboo because Naboo's is going to be anyway. We go like that. So anyway, Andrew, Fantasia, take it away.
All right. So I found that when I was watching this episode Chapter 10. That's what it is. I love that. By the way, I love that it carried on. Chapter 10. I was looking at a lot of stuff, and I'm like, you know what? So far this season, I think I know where Dave Filoni's brain was coming up with ideas of what to see. Because as you guys know, I'm a big source book guy. I loved all the old source books. Most of them are legends now. Canon hasn't made a whole lot of source books. And we did a whole bunch of stuff about them in Summer of Legends. If you haven't watched Summer of Legends, what is wrong with you? What are you doing here? Travel back in time to the summer and watch it. But this particular one I wanted to bring up. This is the Essential Guide to Planets and Moons. And this is, when I showed you the picture today, you nailed it. You said, that looks like 1996 Scholastic.
It does.
And by God, James, is it ever 1996 Scholastic?
Is it actually 96?
Let's see. I'm going to check right now.
I think it's probably like 2001.
If it's not 96, it's damn close. Ooh, 98.
Oh, it was off by 2 years. But it looks like it looks like it's in that. It was very like mid to late 90s, not early 90s.
For sure.
It doesn't have to bleed over from the 80s, but it has a...
it doesn't have the early 2000s like Photoshop mess that covers that.
Okay,
this was like, guys, let's make art.
Where did you get that? Did you get that from Scholastic? Is that where you got it?
I think so. These are really old, man. I think this was, if I remember right, this I got from like a game shop because I had I had the vehicles one and the characters one. And then I saw this and I'm like, oh my God, I love the planets. I want to know about the planets. So I picked up the planets one. There's also one about the alien races, but I never ended up finding that one. I think that one's rare. But yeah, I think I found this in a game shop, and it's even the interior is very 90s, like all black and white, all art, no movie clips, no still images, just all black and white art. But it'll do a thing where, for example, here it'll have a planet. And then it'll tell you about the planet, but then it'll show you hand-drawn images of people and wildlife who might live on that planet. And as I was watching these last 2 episodes of Mando, I was like, well, kiss my grits. I know where these are from. I know where Filoni is mining his material. So we'll start with the one that's probably the most well-known one, and that is this right here. That's their Krayt Dragon friend. Okay, on Tatooine.
In fairness, it looked nothing like that on the show.
It looks not well. The show took the skeleton from A New Hope and said, what kind of meat would be on the skeleton? This is a weird drawing of a Krayt Dragon that doesn't match that skeleton. But then in Knights of the Old Republic, the video game, they used this for the Krayt Dragon that you hunt. So it's like now we have 2 different kinds of Krayt Dragons. And they had the pearls, and that was a big thing. I was like, if they pull a pearl out of this dragon, I am going to go nuts, and they did. But that dragon was, I think, pretty much even some casual Star Wars fans know about Krayt Dragons. But then they started mining something that was, a bit more deep cut.
Wait, before you get the thing with the Krayt Dragon that is cool is even if you didn't, if a Star Wars fan or somebody that watched Mandalorian who watched that episode now goes back and watches A New Hope, they will see that skeleton and maybe, they might piece that together, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yes, yeah, they'll be that little bit like, oh, okay. The connections will come for them afterward, which is kind of a neat experiment. So we had a scary episode where Mando and his new friend, the Frog Lady, got caught in a cave with a bunch of decidedly non-cuddly spiders, kind of like that. Hey-oh!
Yeah, which is not the same spider from Rebels. That has been confirmed that those were not. So what is that spider called?
Well, what's interesting is this is called a knobby white spider, James, and look where it's from.
Interesting.
Yeah.
They definitely were not on Dagobah in that episode.
Yeah, definitely not. It says here the knobby white spider eventually grows into a gnarl tree. So I think whoever wrote this book was like, hey, that tree kind of looks like a spider there, Ralph. Why don't you draw a spider? That's the thing that pulled R2 under the waves, just in case we wanted to know what it looks like. Because apparently it has its own story coming up from a certain point of view.
Amazing. So the thing that's cool about the spider, though, is you have this book and the spider's in that book. And obviously somebody from Lucasfilm, art department or whatnot, knew about this creature. It was on record, on hand. Being from Dagobah, because you're the only one that owns that book, so there's a good chance that a lot of people don't know that, but they have this design which is in Star Wars lore, and people would know it. So diehard Star Wars fans will understand where this comes from. So I love that they're able to take that and now put it on some other planet, that unnamed planet right now. It might be a planet we know, it might not be, we don't know. But this planet that we were never really, I don't think it was identified anyway, but they put it on there, and now it is part of the broader spectrum of Star Wars. Now it is every Star Wars fan knows that spider.
Yes, and I'm willing to bet that this page in this book is not the only time we've seen a drawing of the spider. I have seen this Star Wars spider before somewhere else. I just can't remember where.
Yeah, I have to give a shout out to Force Toast. They tweeted Phil Showstack, but I don't have it on hand right now. And Phil Showstack is the one that actually said that was not the spider from Rebels.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, I'm going to scroll down and try to find it, but I highly doubt I will be able to in any quick period of time.
I trust what Showstack says. Oh, by the way, you mentioned that the planet, the snow planet. I don't know how right this is, but I was looking on Wikipedia today, and apparently that's the same planet from the pilot where he picks up the fish man.
Okay.
That's what they say. I don't know. That's Wikipedia, so take it with a grain of salt. But when I read that, I was like, "Oh, that's a cosmic." Get it? A cosmic coincidence.
Look, it could be. I ultimately, well, the thing is, the X-wings are there, so the Republic is there to some degree, or they're not there, but they travel around that space anyway.
Yeah.
So it could very well be that planet. But we do know that that creature from the Horatio Sands character from the pilot, if it's not him, it is one of those creatures, aliens, is going to be coming up this season. So maybe they're still there, but I don't think any of that matters too much.
Ooh, I didn't know there was another one of those guys coming up.
Sorry to ruin it for you, but it was in the trailer.
Spoiler. No, you're right. It wasn't the trailer. That's good, because that guy was kind of one of a kind. So they're building it up. They're building the universe, making it thicker.
Exactly, and I agree. People it shrinks the universe, and I think you have to keep growing and growing and growing, but you have to bring it back to what we know and what Star Wars represents. And if you want to have a shark Jedi, you can have a shark Jedi, but Jar Jar's got to be there to counter it.
Of course. And I don't know why Jar Jar wasn't in The Mandalorian, which is why I'm canceling Disney Plus tomorrow.
Wouldn't it have been amazing if that lizard thing was a Gungan?
So speaking of weird aliens, Star Wars has this invisible line, and we all know it's there, where aliens are weird to a certain point, but they never get weirder than that. Some sci-fis will get weirder. Star Wars has a line, and we kind of all know where it is. And I feel like they didn't cross the line, but they stepped on it with Dr. Mandible, who was playing. Because that is a weird thing. And my first instinct was, that's almost too weird for Star Wars. But my first instinct was dead wrong, because it has clearly been not weird enough for Star Wars since at least 1998. Say hello to Dr. Mandible, or as they call him here, The Vratix, Vratix is what their species is called. And apparently they're from the planet Typhera, which was a big deal in Legends. I don't know if it still exists. This probably exists in like Tarkin. They probably mentioned it because I remember the Tarkin book mentioned a buttload of canon planets. Well. But yeah, that's the Vratix, and that is pretty much what we saw playing cards with Amy there. So they are legit. They're not just some weird thing that the costume department threw together at the last second. And I have one more for you. And this is my favorite one. Again, Mandalorian, it all feels fresh and new. And all the characters we've been meeting have been fresh and new. But they're still playing in the same sandbox because Frog Lady's got friends, James.
Well, she's married. She has a husband, too. Don't forget that.
Yeah, but we've never seen a Frog Lady on screen. They existed before we saw her. Isn't that cute? Aren't they adorable? I loved her, by the way. I'm just delighted in general by puppets. Like when I see a puppet and it's like, and it's looking around and speaking or just acting like a real flesh and blood thing. I just get delighted by that. It just puts a big smile on my face. So every time Frog Lady was on screen, even if she's just like reacting or just going like this, I just get excited. But yeah, these are frog people. They are called Chubbits. I wonder if that's going to be a thing. We don't know. They're from the planet Eridus, which is, spoilers, a desert planet. There you go. There aren't enough of those. But yeah, there's Chubbits.
Do you suspect that we'll see more of Frog Lady?
Oh, I hope so.
Well, I know we will see more. She's still on the ship, but do you think she's going to be a mainstay this season? Will the season revolve around the passenger, or are we going to lose her next episode? And I don't mean death. I just mean is she going to say goodbye?
I think there's more. I mean, considering what we've been teased, there are more characters to kind of hook up and meet with Mando to be front and center. But I think Frog Lady's quest is going to be important in a way we didn't realize. I don't know if she must notice that there's fewer eggs than she started with. Does she not count her children? And be like, there's like 5 less.
But she saved Baby Yoda at the end, though. She saved him.
Yeah, she loves Baby Yoda. She's Frog Lady's so great.
She was like, I was pleasantly surprised. I love when she took the droid and used his voice box to kind of translate her speech so that Mando could finally understand her because he doesn't speak frog. She doesn't speak Huttese, which would have been nice, but no such luck on our end of that. Overall, how would you grade this episode, and how would you compare it to the previous episode and last season, what we've seen?
Oh boy. This episode felt like I think both of these episodes kind of felt like the Jawa episode from season 1, where it was like a detour that made sense. Like it wasn't a detour that just came out of nowhere. And this one in particular had that feel that the Jawa one gave me of just like I was watching this old Jim Henson movie, this old adventure that, they threw together, like Dark Crystal or something, where all these puppets are running around, people getting shot at. And there's Frog Lady behind you. I love her so much. And it had that kind of vibe to it. And the last one felt more like it reminded me more of the Sorgan episode of the Cara Dune one last week.
Oh yeah, that was so very similar. Very similar.
Yeah, they basically is just like, here's another Western, and we're gonna do that. And I love them both. They're very different, and I think that they are unlike the Jawa egg detour and unlike the farm on Sorgan so far. I think that what we've seen with the Krayt Dragon thing and with this is going to play a part somehow in the rest of the season. It's going to kind of weave through the narrative more than the Jawa egg did.
Well, the Jawa egg was the one where Baby Yoda and the Mando kind of officially bonded and kind of became a 2-pack together. That was the one where Baby Yoda realized that the Mando was his protector, and then he used the Force to save him from the Signia, whatever the hell that thing. Not that which I kind of wish that was the one from Attack of the Clones, the creature thing from the Colosseum on Attack of the Clones. I wish it was, but it wasn't. What are you gonna? I'm really enjoying the season so far. My fear is, like you said, that first episode felt so much like that Cara Dune episode, and it was like, it's a Western, you watch it. And then this one was zany, and it was a lot of fun and wacky, but kind of horror and all that. But it's almost like, okay, it's I don't know how to say this, because but it's like, I know, like, I know you know where you're going, but where are you going? It's what I'm trying to get. It's like, I know you have a plan, but what's going to get us to that plan? Which is great. I mean, I'm glad I don't know the answer to the season already. I don't even know what the season is about yet, because we have this, and like I just said, how long is this passenger character going to even be on the show? I don't know. Obviously, Boba Fett didn't make a comeback in this episode. A lot of people speculated whether or not he would. I'm kind of glad he didn't. I kind of, it's like, keep him. You got him. Keep him in your back pocket. We're all good. We all know that. But for me, that's the biggest question this season so far, even beyond the passenger for me. And let me know how you feel. But what is the Bob's role going forward? Because the first season they were so like, we don't need Boba Fett. We got our own Mandalorian. We don't need him. And now you bring him in, and possibly you teased him last year with the Fennec Shand episode. So you bring him in again now. And because you've waited this long, and because you've told me that you didn't need him, and because the Mandalorian was all after that armor, and you showed him at the end looking all badass, what is his purpose? What is his goal, his ambition? I need to know. Like that to me, that right now is the most curious factor I have, because I know that the Mando's goal is to get Baby Yoda, the child, to his species or Mandalorian or whatever. I understand that, and I understand that there's little things going on, but this Boba Fett guy is coming, and is he going to be? Will he join with the Mando, or will he be like essentially the bad guy this season, who is trying to hunt down the Mando, while the Mando is also trying to avoid Moff Gideon? Is he going to be on that as well? So is he just going to be sprinkled in like the salt?
Well, I think what I keep telling myself is I have to remember that it wasn't till Chapter 3 last year that we knew what the show was going to be. That we knew the meats of the show. It wasn't until Chapter 3 where he's like, I'm quitting the Bounty Guild. I'm taking this with me. Just try and stop me, whoever. Like, and that was where we're like, okay, this is gonna be him on the run with this baby.
Yeah.
And we have we started this season with a bit more clear idea where he's like, where can I find Mandos? Where can I find more Mandos? And the whole point of him taking the passenger is because he heard there's a Mandalorian somewhere else. So it's just like the scavenger hunt for Mandalorian armor. But I think that come next week, we will get a bit more of like the meat of the season is going to be this. And that'll kind of give us a bit of a roadmap. On the topic of Boba, when I watched the first episode there the second time, when I knew Boba was coming this time, I was like, okay, I literally closed my eyes so I wouldn't look at the screen, and I just listened to his footsteps when he walks away, because I'm like, are there spurs on this man's feet? And there were spurs. So closer to confirming that this is the guy who just walked up to Fennec Shand's corpse and was like, oh, look at that, a corpse. That's my Tamura Morrison.
Yeah, but which again, to my earlier point, what is his purpose? What is his goal? Because clearly he went to Fennec Shand. Right? Is he searching for Mando? Why wouldn't he leave the planet? Like, he's there. There's something up with that character. Whether or not it's associated with the armor. Maybe he used the Mandalorian armor to lure more Mandalorians to come and find him after he got out of the Sarlacc. I don't like. There's options here for them to play with. I don't know what they are, because for me, and I've said this since the 80s, I was fine with Boba Fett being dead. I didn't need him to come back. I was okay with Boba being gone. I didn't care. I was fine with Maul being. I loved Darth Maul. I was fine with him being dead. Obviously now, I'm so glad that he's back, but I was okay with Boba Fett being dead. And my dad wasn't too thrilled with last week. I haven't talked to him about this week's episode, but last week's episode he wasn't too. He's like, hey, it was okay. And then I mentioned that was Boba Fett at the end. he was way more interested in the whole. First of all, I was shocked that he knew what Boba Fett was, but then I realized he did get me my diecast Elite Series prototype Boba from the store for me. So maybe that's how he knew who he was. But he was impressed. He was kind of like he found that more intriguing. So I think that little mystery is one that's going to be a lot of fun to see play out. And I really hope that he's back for a purpose. Like there's a point to him being back, and I'm really excited for that. And so far so good with the series. Shocking.
I know, right? Who'd have thunk? I think if I had to guess what Boba's plan or like what his role is going to be in the story, I'm going to guess it's a role of an antagonist to the Mandalorian, just because of the history of like when you look at Darth Maul, and it's like, okay, Darth Maul died. Everybody's like, oh man, it was this cool character, and like he was kind of wasted. Like he died before we really got a chance to have a lot of fun with him. So when Filoni brought him back, we got the side of Maul that we all wanted, but we never saw, which is like this evil Sith and like what kind of guy he was. We just got to know him more. What I've decided to call him now, the Boba Fett fans who were upset that he died. Like I think their whole thing is just like, man, he was this really cool bounty hunter. He's supposed to be if that's what the fans wanted, I think we're gonna get to see Boba Fett being the badass bounty hunter that those fans wanted to see, and see him fight and see him take down an enemy. And I think going up against Mandalorian is perfect because visually it looks cool. You know, one guy in armor versus another guy in armor. But because they are kind of probably evenly matched, I think they would know all the same tricks. Boba's might be a bit dirtier tricks because his dad, we know, is not a Mando. So he was just this kind of weird, scrappy dude who just kind of picked up probably some like underground martial arts moves or something. So I think it'll be a really cool a fight that would be very different from like if Mandalorian goes up against Giancarlo Esposito there, Moff Gideon, because that would be a more like, here's a cerebral guy from the military with a lightsaber. It's a very different foe than here's a guy who has almost the same training as you.
Absolutely. Whatever happens, I'm sure we are in for a treat because they haven't let us down yet. And I don't suspect they will anytime soon. But we're going to have more to talk about, Andrew. We got to get together and do more of these videos, more conversations. But we'll wrap it up now because I've taken enough of your night and mine. But we're only 4 or 5 days away from the next episode of The Mandalorian. Can't wait to watch that one. Anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
I can't wait to see more characters from these old books. Like, look at these guys. Maybe we'll see them next. Who knows?
They're probably in the next episode.
There's very strange.
Yeah, question.
Either that or the next episode of Doctor Who. But there's a lot of good material to be mined, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Filoni digs up next.
Well, keep your eyes peeled for that. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you for joining me, Andrew. I'm going to sit back down in my chair. I'm going to watch the rest of this episode because it is a great episode. I'll see if I can turn up the volume without actually looking. Here.
All I know is the way Frog Lady runs is...
when she goes full frog, it's fantastic.
All
right, now that we lost monetization... That's everything.
Yeah. I used to know a guy who run like that.
Really? Was it Tiago?
Yeah. We did a zombie movie. No, it was a friend of his, though. We did a zombie movie, and he was like, I can do like a weird animal zombie. We're like, okay, you're doing it. We're getting you to do that. And he did it, and it was great.
That's incredible. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I'm James. He's Andrew. And until next time, may the force of others be with you.
Ribbit.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.